What's up, everybody? I'm B-True, and I've wanted to make this video for a very long time. It is an in-depth look and discussion on Itachi Uchiha. Now, for those of you who don't know, I wrote a book. It has to do with fitness, working out, exercise, getting a six-pack, all that good stuff. There's a link down in the description. If it sounds like something you're interested in, click on the link, check it out. It'll give you a synopsis. You can even read like a page or two for free on Amazon. And if you're interested, go ahead and buy it. It would mean the world to me. But anyway, back to Itachi. Here we go. Now, Itachi is by far my favorite ninja in the entire Naruto universe. I just love everything about him. He was so calm and cool and collected, and he won battles and fights without really having to do anything on his own. He could just lock people in genjutsu, beat them to shit, you know, in his Tsukuyomi, and then, you know, like he could win fights pretty much without doing anything, and he was smarter than just about everybody in the Naruto universe, which was amazing. I really liked his character development and how he was, and then we found out that he was such a badass with terminal disease that was like literally killing him minute by minute, and then you find out, and then you think back to all the stuff that he did with this disease. It's just insane. So like I said, Itachi, my favorite ninja. Really wanted to get him in this game. I got him up to 4-star. Unfortunately, right now I don't use him because of the state that he's in currently. But when we get to skill books and skill breaking, whenever they bring that over into the Americas regions, then he will actually become very good again. But anyway, I'll talk about that in a second. Let's get into his skills. So these are his growths. You can see he has very good resistance and very good ninjutsu. Everything else, not all that great. It's, you know, kind of just whatever. But you can see his ninjutsu and resistance are, in fact, very good. So his mystery skill is Tsukuyomi. And in this case, Tsukuyomi is a barrier that he releases. And each round, it will give you 100 chakra. Instead of, you know, like the 20, 40, 60, 80 that you normally get, you automatically get 100 chakra when Tsukuyomi is active. And also, it increases his chances of triggering a crow clone, which he uses to dodge, you know, like basic attacks, chase attacks, and some mystery skills. So he has a pseudo tankiness about him because he's able to dodge attacks, chases, and mystery with a specific, you know, chance. Sort of like the 4th Hokage, how he can kind of just like dodge out of anything. But his basic attack is the Crow Clone Jutsu, and this has a guaranteed chance of causing sleeping unless the unit is immune from like the Root of Warrior passive from the Lightning guy, or if it gets like sent back from the Fire Maiden's passive that reflects. And it also has a chance of causing quintuple combo and high flow. But what's really the important part about this is the sleeping. So you can use Itachi as like a crowd control pseudo tank debuff kind of person, which is how he's meant to be used and how I would like to use him if I had him in my lineup. But the only problem with sleeping is if somebody attacks that whatever character is sleeping after they've been afflicted with sleeping, the sleeping will be gone. So you have to make Itachi attack last, or at least be the last person to attack a certain row in order for the sleeping to stay for the whole next turn, if that makes sense. So his Crow Clone Jutsu, like I said earlier, this increases his evasion rate, and it gives him a chance of avoiding mystery skills, basic attacks, and chases. So he can jump out of a chase at any given moment with this Crow Clone. He can avoid basic attacks, and sometimes he can even avoid mystery skills. His illusion rotation of heaven and earth is his passive that makes him immune to all debuffs. Now that alone is pretty strong. He's permanently immune to all debuffs, which also helps increase his pseudo tankiness. So if in your 8 inner gates you give him a bunch of tanky runes, you know, health or life, defense, resistance, damage reduction, that kind of stuff. Give him critical and then injury so that the crits do less to him. You can make him decently tanky as well as somebody who will evade attacks. So between the two of those, he can be pretty effective as a pseudo tank. Not a frontline tank, but like a pseudo tank. And then last but not least, his chase. Chases and attacks high floated unit, causes low float, 10 combo, and ignition for 3 whole rounds. So normally when you ignite a ninja, you only cause it for 1 round. This ignition stays for 3 whole rounds, which is very, very powerful, because when you're ignited, obviously you can't heal. And an ignite that stays for 3 whole rounds means that somebody is not being able to be healed for 3 whole rounds unless they have somebody who removes, layers of debuffs. So altogether, he has a kit that is well suited for a crowd controlling debuff pseudo tank, like I've been saying. So his crowd control, he can put people to sleep, he can cause ignition for 3 rounds, and he has the ability to jump in and out of attacks with his crow clones, and he's always immune to debuffs. Now that's not the best right now. He's not exactly meta currently. However, when the skill book and the skill break system comes through, basically, if you don't know anything about that, what happens is eventually we will get the ability for certain ninjas. Hold on, sorry. I had to get my fate points real quick. So we will have. Here we go. We'll have the ability for certain ninjas, because not all ninjas, it's only certain ninjas, to. What will happen is you can change the way that their skills work with materials, and so you can even, some ninja even have the ability for skill breakthrough, which is like change everything about them. But the skill books just sort of just modifies how skills work. In Itachi's case, one of the things that makes him actually very powerful once the skill book system comes, whenever we get that, is this skill right here that makes him immune to debuffs. Not only does it make him immune to the debuffs, but once you put the skill books on him, it also reflects all debuffs back to the other team. So sort of like how the Fire Main's passive reflects the first debuff each round back to the enemy team. This, with skill books, this skill right here, will send all debuffs back to the enemy team, which is super, super strong and really, really good. So if you put Itachi out sort of on his own, and they just, the other team has a lot of debuffs, they'll end up debuffing and crowd controlling themselves the entire time. So think of it: acupuncture, paralysis, ignition, poison, sleeping, everything that somebody can do to try and debuff your team or to use crowd control on your team is going to get reflected back on them if it hits Itachi. Which, it doesn't do anything to increase his tankiness, but it increases his crowd control level by an insane amount. Especially when you get to some of the more OP ninjas that start causing like AoE debuffs, and people who have like multiple debuffs in their kit. You can reflect all that back on them, which really screws a team up. So Itachi with the skill book system becomes very, very strong. And obviously I can't wait for that time, because I already have him at 4 stars. I don't really use him right now, but I love him as a ninja, and I love what's he eventually going to turn into. So as for the team that I personally would use him in, this is it right here. So Kimimaro as my tank, because Kimimaro is a very good tank, and I almost have him at 4 stars. So that's when you get him to 4 star, that's when he really becomes really tanky. Lightning main is just my main. Kabuto, because 1, I have him at 5 stars, so he's an amazing healer. 2, he can summon the dead soul puppets, which will go here and here, which when you put them in front of Itachi, obviously they're going to block some damage to him, which, adds a little bit even more pseudo-tankiness right there. So, first turn, I would use the dead souls to make puppets right there, unless the enemy has a barrier that you need to get rid of, in which case I would use Tsukuyomi. And then Itachi sort of off on his lonesome, like I said, for good reason, because he can dodge skills. You can put the clones in front of him. He has pseudo tankiness, so, and you want him to attack a row all by himself, so that nobody else attacks that row and doesn't interrupt the sleeping. As for the talents, I would go Chidori Blade Shadow because Knockdown is very good for this combo. Lightning Assassination Sword because High Float is also good for this this combo here. And then Ligiri Decapitation is important because you need that for Kimimaro who causes Repulse. There's no reason to choose these two right here because you only have 2 Sword Ninja and 2 Lightning Ninja, including your main in your lineup. So you could use this, which would actually synergize pretty well with Itachi's Tsukuyomi. So this is an option for sure. If you have this available, if you're high enough level to unlock Hearth Flux, with Tsukuyomi, you get those 100 chakra points, and that makes this, you know, actually pretty good, because then you'll end up getting, for each chakra point over 40, you increase your attack by 2%, so you end up hitting 60 chakra points over 40, and you would have 120 extra chakra points. So that's pretty good there, but then you have to not use your skills and that stuff. So it's, you know, you would have to change your playstyle a little bit to use that. So what I'm using I'm using Anbu Special Assault Tactics because this gives you lifesteal and increases everybody's taijutsu, which is good. And the lifesteal is just really helpful, especially for Kimimaro and your lightning main. Then you have the choice between Bloodthirsty Demon, Root of Warrior. You can even use clone combination tactics. So if you find that Itachi is dying too soon, what you can do is you can use clone combination tactics to put your lightning main's his clone. I'm pretty sure he's gonna go either there or there. Pretty sure he's gonna go up there. So then you've got that clone in front of Itachi, so he's gonna block a lot of stuff round 1, allow Itachi to kind of get, you know, going so that he doesn't take too much damage in round 1. You could go with Bloodthirsty Demon if you want to go for a little more of a blitz team. I personally would use Root of Warrior just because with Root of Warrior, these 2 guys are immune to debuffs for the first 2 rounds. Itachi is always immune to debuffs. So between the 3 of them, you've got 3 units that are immune to debuffs for at least the first 2 rounds, which allows you to kind of get out ahead of your opponent if they have a heavy crowd control or a heavy debuff team. Especially when he starts reflecting it, then that would be insane. You add Root of Warrior with all those guys. And then Serpent or Snake would work either way. So what happens is if you start Knockdown, you go Knockdown, Snake to High Float to Repulse, Repulse to Knockdown, Snake again to High Float to Low Float. Basically, you always want to make sure that Itachi is part of the chase because Ignition for 3 rounds is very important. You always want to get that. So let's go down here and show you real quick. Finish up, just show you a little bit of how this works. So like I said, first round, you can either go with Tsukuyomi, or if you think he's dying too soon, you can go with Dead Soul Jutsu. So I'll just show you his Tsukuyomi here. And this is the chase, you can see. So now he's ignited for 3 whole rounds. You can see in his Tsukuyomi, he dodges stuff pretty easily, which is good. And I'll show you the knockdown combo here. So we got knockdown, High Float, Repulse, knockdown, High Float, and then Ignition for 3 more rounds. So Kakashi's going to use his mystery skill, except he just got sleeped, or put to sleep, whatever. Not sleeped, he got put to sleep. So what happens is, especially here, because he attacks last, you can constantly keep putting him to sleep, and he'll never be able to get off his combo. And you can see he's been ignited this entire time. Then we just ignite him again. And then Itachi is going to come through and cause sleeping. And his mystery skill's canceled again. So this lineup is pretty strong if you don't have like a bunch of really high-end Kage treasure level ninja. Which is the only reason that I don't use this formation is because I got Cursed Hidan and Darui. So you put those together and it ends up being a much better team. But yeah, that has been an in-depth look at Itachi Uchiha, my favorite ninja. And Itachi gets a couple different forms in this game. namely Susanoo Itachi, which is extremely overpowered beast right now. But I can't wait for the skill book system so that I can start using Itachi more often. I do have Itachi in my ranked battle team because I love him and I want him in as many teams as I can get him in. So I put him up here. He, you know, for the debuff and the crowd control and the ignition and everything. So this team isn't the best. I want to change this team up once I get some... I gotta put some more thought into this, but Itachi stays because I love Itachi, and I'm gonna find a way to put him in all my lineups. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this look at Itachi, this in-depth look. If you guys want to see more ninja in particular, some in-depth look into some of the other ninja, I can do those. Leave a comment down below. Let me know who or what you would like to see. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel so you can stay up to date with all my future videos. Also, I did mention about the book earlier. If you guys are interested, click on the link, check it out, buy it if you want. Anyway, guys, that's going to be it from me. Thank you so much for stopping by. Appreciate every single one of you. Have a great day. Appreciate Itachi, and peace.